Today we are going to talk about how you and your club or squadron can be better at making new contacts, recruiting new members, and promoting our organization. This workshop will help you work with potential members or customers and get them to take the next step. Opportunities are everywhere, especially at boat shows, while doing a vessel safety check, and conducting public educational seminars. In this session, we will cover the following topics. First, continually promoting the benefits of membership to current members and keeping them involved. Second, marketing materials available from the National Marketing Committee, such as brochures and slides that you can use now. Third, details about maximizing your recruiting opportunities at boat shows, seminars, and VSCs. Fourth, how to be comfortable in sales and salesmanship. This often underappreciated role in your club is easier, more effective, and comfortable with the approaches in this workshop. Fifth, and not to be overlooked, critical activities for follow-up after the boat show, VSC, or seminar. We need to pay attention to current members and make this a priority. While it's easy to dismiss member loss as an inevitable result of aging out or members getting out of boating, our tracking statistics clearly show that we lose over half of all new members within their first 2 years. That's correct. There's a 50% chance that any new member in your club or squadron will leave by the end of their second year. In order to retain members, we need to continuously strive to understand and monitor what each member needs and what they value out of membership. Do they need more education? Do they prefer more social events? How about on-the-water boating activities like raft-ups, educational workshops, and cruises? What needs and wants are not being met? As mentioned, we lose way too many of our newer members. We need to provide special attention to each new member for at least their first year and longer if possible. Talk with them frequently. Ask them what educational programs and topics they are interested in. Invite them to meetings, dinners, social events, and educational sessions and so on, and to sit with you. Eliminate any cliquishness in your club and open up to all members. Always promote the club to current members like you would to a new member candidate. Remind them about your upcoming club activities and educational programs. Promote the benefits of membership and discuss how they can participate in club activities. Finally, make sure you deliver. Too many ex-members we surveyed said they were not getting sufficient education or enough social events or adequate boating activities. Let's fulfill the promise of America's Boating Club. Now, let's talk about what marketing materials are available to you for use at boat shows, public seminars, vessel safety checks, and other public contact events. We have 2 excellent trifold brochures. The first brochure presents a great overview of our organization and describes who we are, what we do, and the benefits of joining and being a member. The second trifold focuses specifically on education by listing seminars, courses, and on-the-water hands-on training. These brochures are attractive, professionally designed, and effective. They are intended to work both individually and together. You can add your local club name and contact information. You can download the PDF files for these trifolds from the Marketing Committee webpage and take them to your local printer. Or you can contact headquarters and order them for delivery. These are great tools that were designed for you. Use them. We also have a great slideshow in PowerPoint that serves as an electronic brochure to promote the club. It is designed for you to use at public seminars and at boat shows. It's simple, fast, and effective. The slides cover our new name and brand, who we are, what we do, and the depth and experience of our educational expertise. At public seminars, it's easy for instructors or a club officer or representative to present. It takes about 5 minutes, is not pushy, and serves as a foundation for discussion and follow-up. More on this later. At boat shows, put it in kiosk mode and let it run on its own. It will get attention. It's a great tool, especially in combination with the Trifold Brochures. Now let's discuss how to leverage boat shows and public events. We will cover marketing objectives at the show, booth layout for effectiveness and efficiency, common sense rules, and getting that valuable contact information. Your marketing objectives at the boat show are quite straightforward. You are not trying to get a candidate to sign on the bottom line and join. This is not the old used car salesman approach that everybody hates. We will talk more about our sales approach later in this session. But here's an overview of what you want to accomplish. First, simply engage in conversation and introduce visitors to America's Boating Club. Mention the national organization, your local club, and any local clubs near where they live, work, and boat. Briefly mention who we are and what we do. Use something like our elevator speech, such as, America's Boating Club is a nationwide boating organization. We learn together, boat together, and help each other and other boaters on the water and on land. Our members learn boating skills, engage with boating friends, and connect with the boating community. Of course, you can modify this language as you see fit and mention any special features of your local club. Next, gently do a little probing to find out their boating interests and experience. What brings them to this boat show? Do they already have a boat? What kind of boating do they like? Where do they boat? And so on. From that information, you can easily identify how we can help them achieve their interests. Are they interested in education, and what topics? Do they like to socialize with other boaters? How about cruises and raft-ups? This is not the time to push anything. Just be friendly, engaging, and informative. If they seem interested, ask if we can contact them later and get their contact information. This is often a sticking point, so we'll cover more on that later. Importantly, don't go for them to immediately become a member. Just get them to take the next step, one at a time. It can be as simple as agreeing to have someone call them, or coming to your next seminar, or coming to your next dinner or social event on or off the water. More on this aspect later. We need to project a professional image through an effective booth layout and design. Too often, many amateur booths typically have simple signage, a couple of chairs for weary booth staff, and a skirted table laden with stuff and goodies at the front of the booth. What's wrong with this? This type of setup is not an effective use of space, and more importantly, it is not an inviting space for visitors. The table in front is a barrier between you and visitors, both visually and physically. The cornucopia of freebies, brochures, trinkets, and other stuff is a confusing mess and does not clarify our image or message. The materials we give out on state and federal boating rules, information on boating safety, and other educational materials are often provided by government, Coast Guard Auxiliary, and other organizations, and do not have our name and logo on them at all. Finally, sitting in chairs implies that you do not care about engaging visitors or are mentally detached. The combined effect of the table barrier, the look of weary folks sitting in chairs, and clutter is a good reason why people walk on by. Instead, create an open and inviting booth to bring visitors into your space and engage them. Put 1 or 2 tables in the back or along the sides and keep the area open at the front of the booth so you can invite people to come in and look at what we have. Keep the booth and tables uncluttered with only branded materials and not too many knickknacks. Use the America's Boating Club logo and signage. Add your local club name to the bottom as described in the marketing guidebook. Use the professionally designed trifold brochures we already discussed. Have them attractively arranged and use a vertical tabletop stand to highlight the brochures and take up less real estate on the table. Run a large laptop or a small monitor to show our PowerPoint slides in kiosk mode. Moving images always get attention. Provide a schedule of courses and seminars and review the list with them to gauge their interest. Give them a copy and make sure it includes a phone number and email they can use to contact you. And remember, use our materials, not those from other organizations. In addition, there are a few common sense rules to reinforce. Obviously, you don't want any staff or visitors drinking alcoholic beverages in your booth. This is contrary to our image and decorum. But also, eating food in the booth is unprofessional. When visitors are passing by, they see you are busy chowing down, and they won't want to disturb you. So plan your booth staffing schedules to allow for food, drink, and bathroom breaks. Also obvious, but not always observed, make sure all booth staff are able to focus on the visitors and getting passers-by to become visitors. Don't spend too much time talking among yourselves or on the phone. Focus on the visitors. A booth can be either understaffed or crowded with too many staff. Both are problems. Establish schedules to have only 2 to 4 workers in the booth at one time. Many booths are only 10 feet by 10 feet, and we recommend no more than 3 workers in those booths at any one time. If too many volunteers show up, then send some to enjoy the show and return in an hour. Then send others out for an hour, and so on. Look around, and you will see that staff at almost all other professionally staffed booths are dressed as boaters, mostly in khakis and a company shirt. For America's Boating Club, this means khakis and either a national or squadron club polo shirt. Be friendly and behave informally, but always be respectful and courteous. And remember, this is supposed to be fun, so smile. One of the major goals of having a booth at a boat show is to meet potential members so you can follow up. Almost no one will sign up as a member when they first meet you, so it must be done through follow-up. We will discuss this more later. For now, though, you must collect contact information in the form of name, email address, and, if possible, their phone number. After the show, send a short email thanking them for talking with you and reminding them who we are through a short 1-paragraph explanation. You can also mention the specific areas they seemed interested in and leverage that to invite them to take one more step. This step can be to come to a meeting, take a seminar, or attend a social event. Provide some information on upcoming courses and boating activities. You can also mention that joining is easy and explain how. In addition to this short follow-up email, for the next year, continue to invite them to attend upcoming seminars and participate in events. Many people take their time and will eventually attend some event. Give them time, and don't be concerned about continuing to follow up, even if they don't reply to the first dozen invitations. The next topic we will cover is marketing and recruiting at public seminars and courses such as America's Boating Course. If you promote these events well, outsiders will show up to learn something. But before you give them that, do a little self-promotion first. It's neither intrusive nor time-consuming. You don't need special training or aptitudes. It's easy. Start with the slides that overview America's Boating Club as introduced earlier. Again, this takes 5 minutes and is easy to present. Even for an instructor who doesn't consider him or herself a salesperson, they still know how to present a few slides. The slide presentation not only introduces America's Boating Club, it also helps demonstrate your instructor credentials. Showing the slides at the beginning of the session increases credibility and perceived value of the material. Presenting the slides also demonstrates that, in addition to the instructor's personal expertise, he or she is affiliated with a large body of knowledge from their association with the organization. The course value is not just a function of the instructor's knowledge, but is based on and developed by the contribution of many experienced voters who created the course or seminar. The explanation of America's Voting Club in the slides shows the breadth and scope of that knowledge base that resides in the members of the organization. So reinforce the use of the few marketing slides with your SEO and instructors. Of course, you may want to have the slides presented by the commander, membership chair, or other representative. Just make sure to start the session with the slides to establish the value of the educational material as well as to introduce the club for recruitment purposes. In addition to presenting the club introductory slides, there are a few more critical things you can do to leverage this opportunity to recruit members at educational sessions. Create a takeaway folder for each student in advance of the course. These folders have a dual purpose. First, providing a reminder to the student about who we are and what we do, and second, obtaining contact information and other relevant information from the student for marketing uses later. You can purchase inexpensive but attractive folders at Staples, Office Depot, Office Max, or at many other big box stores. At a minimum, place inside the following: the Two Trifold Brochures discussed previously, your Squadron Club newsletter, your business card, a schedule of upcoming educational, social, and voting events, a student registration form and membership information regarding how to join. The registration form is for the student to complete at the beginning of the session and for you to collect. Make sure you ask for their contact information, what kind of voting they do, a checkoff list of educational topics that may interest them, and other information necessary for your membership recruitment follow-up activities. In addition to the takeaway folder and presenting the slides, you can have a short welcome visit by the commander or other officer. It's a nice thing to do and an opportunity to invite the student to take more courses and seminars, as well as attend upcoming social and voting events. Finally, to effectively integrate a bit of marketing with the education, make sure to share this entire workshop with your instructors to brief them on the easy way to develop a sales attitude and aptitude. Now let's move on to leveraging another public encounter, the vessel safety check. You only have a short time to conduct a VSC, but start with an introduction. Ask if they are familiar with America's Voting Club. This is a good opportunity to explain the brand name and another name they could recognize, United States Power Squadrons. Just like with providing a takeaway to new students, give the boat operator receiving the VSC both of the trifold brochures along with your business card. Then go ahead and perform the vessel safety exam. Afterwards, often the boat owner and the examiner have already become familiar and have had a few conversations about the boat. So this is a good time to build upon the relationship and the results of the exam by explaining how they can resolve some of the issues found during the exam, gain more knowledge and skill, associate with other boaters, and, in short, engage with America's Voting Club. Invite them to the next meeting, seminar, or boating activity. Get their contact information so you can follow up. During the conversation, learn about their family or crew situation. Often, the primary boat operator is more comfortable and feels more competent than other family members. Find out how those family members could benefit from education, affiliation, and so on. Thus far, we have discussed the need to market to current members as well as recruit new members at boat shows, public seminars and courses, and while performing a vessel safety exam. Now we'll discuss how to be an effective representative of America's Voting Club and do a little selling, comfortably and ethically. There is no need to be a snake oil salesman. How do we be salespersons and still be ethical, comfortable, and effective? Sometimes we have a perception of sales and salespersons as pushy or dishonest. However, for 99% of the sales force, this is absolutely false. True, there are a few untrustworthy people in sales, but the vast majority perform a valuable service by helping the public and organizations in identifying and purchasing what they need. Sales is not a sleazy or slick profession. In fact, for America's Boating Club, we are all representatives and thus salespersons for our organization. We often call it different things, like recruiting or being an ambassador or other non-sales or non-business terms. But in reality, we are enthusiastically engaging in bringing the benefits of membership to other boaters. This is, in fact, sales in a positive way. How? It's really just being your friendly and engaging self. It's just talking to people. All you want to do is have a conversation about them, us, and how America's Boating Club may be of benefit to them. We want to be open and honest. We want to be welcoming and do not want to exhibit an exclusive or high-minded attitude. We want to make sure that everybody is welcome. The feeling of inclusiveness is very powerful. We want to explain our organization and describe the benefits and joys of belonging to it. We can easily and honestly describe the excellent education, talk about being with boating friends, and illustrate how participating in boating activities and social events is rewarding. It's just conversation. Remember, an important part of this conversation is listening. Sometimes novice salespersons start talking without listening to the needs of the other person. Instead, first ask them about themselves and their boating activities. It's a good way to break the ice, to maintain the comfort zone, and to learn about the other person so you can respond in a positive way. More on this coming up. Of course, while some boaters are novices and others are experienced, no one likes to be talked down to. So don't be a know-it-all. Instead, demonstrate your expertise by answering their questions plainly and completely. Talk about what interests them, not what you know. Respond to any knowledge issues or different perspectives humbly, frankly, and with demonstrable facts. Don't tell a prospect that we are the best. Everyone hears that all the time, and many salespersons say that without justification. Instead, explain the comprehensiveness of our educational programs, how we have fun on-the-water activities and social events, and how we contribute to community service. Describe these in sufficient detail that they may reach their own conclusion about how great we are. It's not just greatness that counts. It's how well our organization can fit to their needs and boating lifestyle. Remember, most people are either convinced or not within the first few minutes of the first encounter. So listen to their needs, respond to those needs completely, and don't waste their time. As has been said, people may forget what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. It's not the details of the conversation with a prospective member, it's how they come away from the encounter and reflect on it. We want to convey a feeling of excitement and enthusiasm. Use the tone of your voice and cadence properly. This should not sound like a practiced script and should not be false. Instead, just get excited, be sure, be confident, and demonstrate your own positive feelings about being a member. Don't be reserved. Show some emotion. It works. Again, be welcoming and inviting. Make a visitor feel at ease with you. How? Be at ease with yourself and your ability to describe what you get out of membership. Convey the sense that you would really like for them to be a member because they will share in similar feelings of belonging that you do. There are no magic words. Just describe what you appreciate about being a member and how it has benefited you. Also, this is fun. Being a member is fun. Joining our boating community is fun. Learning can be fun. What does a prospective boat owner need? New boat owners can be a blank canvas, but they often don't know what they don't know. So, gently and frankly, help them see a basic progression of learning that we offer and how it can help them be comfortable and feel competent on the water. We can help with seminars and courses, on-the-water training, and by joining a group of boaters that will be happy to go out with them on their own boat and help them practice. Don't forget the spouse or significant other. It is the less competent voter that demonstrates the needs of the family and their fears and concerns that drive many decisions. Ask the more quiet one what they think about voting and what concerns they may have. Then address those concerns to that person. What else? These are not the only topics and questions to ask. Let your conversation with them be your guide. Listen to them and ask follow-up questions as appropriate. Once you've had the conversation about them and their needs, it's time to respond so they can see clearly how a relationship with America's Boating Club could benefit them. Explain what programs and services we have to meet each of the specific needs they identified. Don't add too much more, just focus on what they said and how we can help. Then ask for their general reaction. Often you will get a clear indication of their level of interest. Rarely do you get a response like, "Oh boy, where do I sign up?" Instead, you may get an interest level and a reason or two that they may not be interested. These are the things you should respond to immediately if possible. Don't let them walk away with unanswered concerns. More on this later. Once you confirm their interest, get their contact information. Make sure you write down something specific about their interests so you can follow up later. Note that many people will say something like, "No thanks, I can follow up," since they don't want to be bothered, just like us. Don't give up. Instead, you can respond with something like, "I understand, but once you get home with all the junk from this show, you could lose our contact information, and you do seem a little interested. How about if you enjoy the show and we contact you later? No obligation, just a follow-up. You might like what you hear." Then get their name and email address. If possible, get their phone number. Also, make sure you give them takeaways like the Trifold Brochures. Invite them to take a small step. Don't go for membership yet. Invite them to come to a seminar or take a course. Invite them to an on-the-water boating event. Invite them to a dinner meeting. Make the invitation welcoming and compelling by illustrating how that next event can meet the needs they identified for education, socializing, and/or fun. By no means should you rely on them to follow up on their own or go to your website. They won't do it. After this first encounter, they will go on to other things in life, and the opportunity is lost. In the next few slides, we'll go into a little more detail about how to have a productive and comfortable conversation with a potential member. Specifically, we will address how to aim the discussion to get the best answers through open-ended questions. Answer any objections by demonstrating our value. And better explain the benefits of what we offer. It might take a little practice, but anyone can do it. Remember, you're just having a discussion to gain their interest and get them to the next step. It is important to ask questions the right way in order for both parties to better understand each other. There are open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. A closed-ended question asks for a conclusion, decision, or other firm yes or no answer. These yes or no questions may be premature or otherwise shut down the conversation with a no or no thanks. At this point, it might be too late. Instead, an open-ended question allows the other person time to reflect on an answer, leaves the door open to more discussion, and allows you to better understand where they are coming from. Here are examples of both types of questions. Understand the difference and practice rephrasing some of your standard lines you use to try and draw out their interests and keep them in the conversation. Closed-ended. Would you like to take a boating safety class? Asks for a yes or no decision. Open-ended. What kinds of boating education are you interested in? Asks for more information and allows more discussion. You will hear many objections from prospects as to why they don't need your product. They are in a hurry to get away, and you have only a few seconds to grab their attention. Here is an example of how to answer a prospect's objection to what America's Boating Club has to offer. Objection. I've been boating for years and don't need courses. Response. Restate the objection. So if I'm understanding you, you feel you have all the boating education you need already? Offer an answer to the objection. You know, there are a lot of new and recent electronics and software that make boating safely a whole lot easier and safer. Our local ABC Club has a course on a new program called Automated Information Systems that is intended to make you more visible to other craft in the area. The class is coming up Saturday, April 10th, and again Saturday, June 12th. Which date works best for you? Or another possible answer. Well, we always need good teachers. We'd love to have you join our educational team. Here's my card. Call me, and I'll be glad to discuss how to get on board. Think of other objections from prospects that you normally get at boat shows and be prepared to answer them. Remember, you have only about 3 seconds to get their attention. Many times we will discuss what we offer in plain vanilla terms by simply describing it. We do not explain the importance and impact on a potential member or customer. We need to address what it means to them. These are features versus benefits, and it's important to understand the differences. A feature describes the product or offering. It can be detailed, but not necessarily relevant to the user. An example is, we have this great new seminar on AIS we think you should take. It covers this and that and even more. Instead, focus on the benefits or outcome, such as, our new seminar on AIS will help you navigate crowded waterways easily and safely, and show you how the software helps you identify potential dangers so you can quickly make decisions on the water. Think of other features you can turn into benefits for prospects, and practice your delivery before you go to your event. So now you've had a good encounter with a prospective member. You have identified their needs, explained how we can help, invited them to a next step, and left them with positive feelings of a welcoming organization. What's next? All too often, local squadrons and clubs have either given up too soon or not even followed up at all. From boat shows, public education, and other events, we have data that shows insufficient follow-up. There are several things to keep in mind. First, email the contacts you made within 48 hours of the date of the contact. Do not wait. Do not use a form letter or email. Do not make it a generic, "thank you for stopping by" type of communication. Instead, the email should be as friendly as you were before, and importantly, mention something specific from your conversation based on the note you made on their contact form. This lets the recipient know that you remember them and have their personal interest in mind. Second, if you have their phone number, call. It is not an interruption if they offer the number. Third, try 3 to 5 times by phone and by email. Be patient. Do not get discouraged. Persevere. Fourth, again invite them to an upcoming meeting, seminar, course, boating activity, or other event that you think might interest them. Promote the event itself and the benefits or pleasure they may get from participating. Fifth, use some of the same salesmanship techniques we discussed in this workshop and that you used when you met them. Tell them it was a pleasure meeting with them. Mention how we can address the unmet needs from the conversation, and repeat the invitation to an event. Now the prospective member shows up at one of your events. So far, so good. This is an opportunity to build on the relationship. Don't put pressure on them to join. Instead, make them feel welcome and appreciated. You can thank them for coming, greet them by name, introduce them around, pre-arrange for them to sit with you and your friends, or at least someone who will welcome them and be friendly. At the end of this event, invite them to another one. If they are interested, this is a great indicator of their potential as a member. Also, you can ask them what they would like to see the club offer in the future that meets their specific interests and needs. This lets you know if the club is on track or needs to make an adjustment to attract more members. It also lets you know what specific upcoming event would be of high value for the candidate. If they show up at a couple of events, then it is certainly time to ask them to join the club. At this point, they most likely will, and you will have been successful. A few things to remember as you approach salesmanship in a friendly and engaging way. Salesmanship is about preparation, based upon what you have learned in this workshop and applied to your own style and personal approach. No one bats 1,000, so don't be discouraged. This takes perseverance. Be easygoing, friendly, and enthusiastic. This is the most effective way to sell our organization. They and you should be at ease, but happily enthusiastic. Listen as well as talk. Understand their needs and wants first. What needs can we fill? Based upon what you learned from them, respond appropriately on how we can meet those needs. Get them to the next step, not necessarily all the way to membership. This is more of a marathon than a sprint. Don't forget to include the spouse. They have more influence on this decision than we might think. Thank you for participating in this seminar. With the ideas, tools, and approaches we discussed, you will be more prepared to meet and recruit new members to the organization. Share this seminar with others. Talk about the concepts and how you can leverage your skills and new knowledge for a more successful club.